What is up, losers? Sorry for the lack of uploads. I've been a little bit sick, but it is fine because we are back. And as you read by the title, we are going to be going over the greatest dinosaur simulator meta of all time. Uh, I think that this is honestly the best meta, and from the people that I've spoken to, from early to Drago, basically everyone's in agreement that this was probably the most fun Dino Sim meta, sheerly because of how fucking hectic it was. So, the images that I'm about to put on screen are probably PTSD inducing to some people, and the reason for that is for people that didn't play during the best meta, realism stats, Frosted Rex was by far the best creature in the entire game. And, like, to put into perspective how powerful Frosted was, if I had to estimate, it was able to 3-shot kill basically, like, let's say as an example, like 60% of every single, like, playable. Um, you were getting hit 3 times and you were dropping dead. The only things that I remember that were viable in terms of, like, high skill wars that could withstand Frosted's attacks are like more than like 2 or 3 from Frosted attacks are basically every single sauropod other than Fuda, and that's actually it. Just Fuda's the only sauropod, if I remember correctly, that couldn't take 3 Rex hits. All I think Mega couldn't. Yeah, it was insane. And what made it even worse is I'll put on screen some clips. Rex's speed glitch was absolutely insane. Now, newer players won't understand what the fuck is going on here because they don't have speed glitches like this. They don't build them like this anymore. Um, Frosted Rex was not only the most lethal thing on land, but it could also jump into the water, and with someone who was able to control the speed glitch well and prevent themselves from getting anti-exploit, which is another thing that current players don't have to worry about, because that's gone now. As long as they were able to control anti-exploit, they would basically be unkillable in the water. And Frosted was basically, it was very difficult to kill because its stats were very good. If it didn't hit you, or if it hit you once, you were basically out of commission in basically every single fight, because generally a third of your health would be gone instantly if it landed a mouse 1. If it landed an AoE with that, that's 1,000 damage of your health instantly gone. Even if you did get it low, it would just jump away either into the void, because you know that was something else that you could do. You could swim in the void during that time, or it would jump into the water and it would swim away from you, or it would jump off of a cliff and go flying a million miles back and you wouldn't be able to catch it. Only really other Frosted was able to catch it, and some other speed glitching creatures, and that's basically it. Yeah, and because of that, at the time, I thought this was the most unfair and unfun thing to play against. But looking back, I think that we were all ungrateful for how hectic and fun this meta was for Dino Sim. Now, the next thing that we're going to be getting into are Rainbow Brack and Diamond Apato. Now, so during realism stats, everything had specific cooldowns to their attacks. It isn't like how it is now, where it's basically the animation finishes and then you can immediately click again. It wasn't like that during realism stats. Things would have very specific cooldowns, and if I remember correctly, Apato's mouse 1 cooldown was like 4 seconds or something. It was very long. But Diamond Apato and Rainbow Brack did not have these cooldowns, so you were able to just constantly click with them. I was actually the one that found out about Rainbow Brack, and I told Nico about it. And if you don't know this, Nico is the one that spread it everywhere, because I told him, don't tell anyone about this. This is really cool tech that no one knows about yet. And I trusted him because he said he wouldn't spread it, and then he proceeded to spread it everywhere. What made not Diamond Brack, rather, Rainbow Brack arguably better than Diamond Apato is it had slightly more health, if I remember correctly. And its attack rate was slightly slower, but it had more range, so you could generally be able to range Diamond Apato with Rainbow Brack. But this is something else that newer players won't know about. Hill swinging. Hill swinging was the most fun shit like ever. And I'm just keeping it a stack. Men's was the best V2 Apollo. I don't want to hear it from anyone. It's just me. But hill swinging is some tech that I popularized as well during Diamond Apollo meta and stuff. Again, mostly spread everywhere by Nico and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know, man. The meta was just really fun, and this isn't at this current time. The best trike was regular trike or riot shield. Mammoth at the time wasn't viable, and EO trike was viable, but no one really used it because there was better options. But what makes the meta very, very epic is basically every single playable had some sort of a role. You could use basically whatever you wanted, and you'd be able to get some sort of success out of it. Phoenix Achillebator had a very specific niche where if you were able to catch a Rex Alakin, you could like stack 6 bleed on it before it could kill you. Because it would be able to hit you once, and then if it missed its AoE, you'd probably be able to stack a ton of bleed on it. Now, that 6 bleed basically puts a Rex out of commission instantly. This was a very, very specific niche, and it wasn't very practical, but it did have a niche for wars. Basically, every single creature had a niche for wars. Gigaraptor, whilst having trash stats, was specifically able to range a lot of the creatures. Classic Gigaraptor was able to eat from super far away. Turkey had a really good speed glitch. Like, literally everything had a spot in the meta. And that was awesome. I genuinely think that everyone in the DS community took this for granted, at least in the combat community, because I know at the time I'm definitely a big that's definitely not the right word. I was definitely a big anti-advocate for the realism stats. However, looking back, we really shouldn't have complained. No one should have complained, because this shit was the most fun I've probably ever had in Dinosim. Ever. And this is like, it's super old now, but given the recent resurgence in Dinosaur Simulator updates and stuff like that, I just thought that I would, I don't know, reminisce a little bit. And I don't know, lots of things were super fun in that meta. There was tree swinging, there was hyper swinging with speed glitchers like albinos and shit, like regular albino. Diamond albino was really, really good with hyper swinging. You were basically able to fling around like a motherfucker with that. You could tree swing with diamond albino. Forest Guardian Apollo was really good for not hill swinging rather. It was really good for tree swinging. Galbarrow obviously is definitely one of the most known tree swingers. Like literally everything was awesome. It was probably the best meta, and I really regret being so what's the word that I'm looking for here? Ungrateful for how fun realism stats were, because like I would have like a 3-hour war where it would be like super duper fun, and then immediately after I would start complaining about everything like to my friends, and I really shouldn't have been such a big anti-advocate, because it was it was so fun. That's not even taking into consideration the aquatics. This is this is when aquatic wars started picking up in popularity. I know that Quantums were one of the first people to start genuinely like spamming semi-aquatics and stuff like that, that weren't just hybrids, like just Mega and stuff, and aquatics in general. It wasn't just them, it was Phantoms and stuff as well, and also Tribe, but it was genuinely when aquatic wars started picking up as like an actual thing that people would do. Because if you were getting your ass beat on land, you could just jump into the water, and then it's a completely different like battle there. And during realism stats is also where the water break joke came from with us, where someone tried to call pause so that they could give their dinos water, like mid-fight. Like, it was definitely some of the most fun I've had on DS, and it's definitely where a bulk of our win streak, like, as in the tribes, wins came from on our like historic win streak for Dinosim. Even though I was a giant anti, like I hated it. I hated realism stats for some reason, even though like I really shouldn't have. But man, that shit was epic, and I hope that at some point they dig up the stats and ranges and stuff like that and throw it back into the game, because I'd probably get back into DS again for it. As it stands, I'm not going back to Dinosim, fuck no, but I don't know, man. I just miss realism stats a lot, and I reminisce about it sometimes, and dude, it was some of the most fun I've had on any game ever. Anyway, goodbye everyone. This has been a fun video to make.